Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse McFarlane Toy Store exclusive gold label Superman and his Unchained Armor. This is the Patina edition. Now you may wonder, what is a Patina edition? I'll tell you, I'm not familiar with that word, so I looked it up, and according to Google, it said patina is a thin layer that variously forms on the surface of copper, brass, bronze, and similar metals and metal alloys of certain stones and wooden furniture, or any similar acquired change to the surface through age and exposure. Additionally, the term is used to describe aging of high-quality leather. Looking at it, it looks like sort of a greenish layer on top of bronze or whatnot, kind of with age. I don't know. We'll see how the figure looks. Like I said, this is McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, limited to 10,000 pieces. There was no warning. Simply dropped one day. Not exactly the most desirable figure. Do not misunderstand me. Superman's Unchained Armor is a really cool figure, but Superman doesn't need armor too often, and they've already made 2 different versions. This is the 3rd. I know a lot of people are tired of the variants by McFarlane. I've come to like them, but I'm a completist. So, let's take a look at the packaging. I'm assuming this is kind of what patina is going to look like. Maybe I misunderstood. Maybe it's more this color instead of green. I don't know. When I googled, I saw both green and this sort of, I don't know, rust type color. This is a McFarlane Gold Label Collection, DC, the Superman logo, Superman Unchained Armor Patina Edition, McFarlane Toys. This is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, limited to 10,000 pieces. Authenticated, limited edition, 10,000 pieces. One side, Superman Unchained Armor Patina Edition. Other side, pretty blank. There is a little QR code if you want to scan that. On the back side, here's the figure. Looks like he is sporting the color scheme that's more like the background here than the sort of green I thought it was supposed to be. McFarlane Toys. The top says DC. At the bottom, a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case that happens to help anybody. So it's got the outer cardboard layer. Take that, lift it up. Oh, looks like my guy's head fell off. Should be pretty easy to reattach. That's kind of annoying to see though. Bam. Here is the figure in its entirety. Have the wings down here, display stand here, collector's card here, and head here that shouldn't be removable, but I can see the pegs there. Should be really easy to pop the thing back on there. May have to heat it up. We'll see. Nice packaging, limited exclusive. This guy ran for $29.99, which is about $10 more than the average McFarlane figure. Yeah, limited edition, extra packaging, exclusive. I get it. So no further ado, let's open him up. All right. Now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He comes with a display stand, a collector's card with its own stand, 2 removable wings, and a removable head. And being a little bit sarcastic, before we go any further, let's pop this head back on. So I tried to simply shove the head back on, and it wasn't that simple. Got some boiling water, dipped the head in there, bam, good as new. So, let's take a look at him. But first, let me talk about this patina thing. Apparently it's sort of like rust color. I misunderstood, I guess, what I read. Yeah, it looks visually pleasing, but it's definitely an unnecessary variant, to say the least. That being said, now let's take a look at him. Start with his head here. He has this really, really weird looking helmet that does not scream Superman in any way, shape, or form to me. You can see the red on there, and it looks like it's got some wear, some weathering going on there. Eyes are yellow, lit up. Just a really weird sort of crown looking thing. You can see on the back with little holes that'll plug the wings into. Going further down, Superman logo, also kind of worn. The suit as a whole, it's silver and red, but has a lot of wear. I like the way it looks. It's a fantastic sculpt. Always a fan of Superman in his Unchained Armor. It's a really good looking figure, especially the value. But it's kind of weird having Superman armor. Unless Krypton is involved, he should really never need an armored suit. Looks like single jointed elbows, double jointed knees, different sort of texture on different parts of the suit. I like it. The paint job is fantastic. I mean, look at that. The weathering, the differences. Very well done. Overall, pretty good looking figure. An unnecessary paint, but cool for collectors. And just a closer look at his helmet and head sculpt. It looks good. The sculpt is very nice. Not sure about those big ear looking things. Really weird. Now let's take a look at his accessories. And let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. It's the same display stand we've gotten a million times. The same sculpt. It's a perfect circle. It's got one peg for the pedals on our feet. Very thin. But it's unique. It's gray and has the Superman logo on it. This is only the second display stand McFarlane has made in their Multiverse line that's unique. The other one is very recent with the Jokerized Future State Batman. I appreciate little things like this. Now let's look at his collector's card. We have a display stand with the collector's card. This is the third McFarlane figure to come with a display stand to hold the collector's card. The first one was the gold label Walmart exclusive Mega Figure King Shark, and the second one was the Jokerized Future State Batman. Kinda cool. Here are all three of those different collector's card display stands. King Shark, Unchained Superman, and Jokerized Batman. So here's his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of the Superman and Unchained Armor Patina Edition Superman Patina Edition. On the back side, Certificate of Authenticity. No description of the actual figure. Oh, it's interesting. This is number 1,631 of 10,000. Todd McFarlane. Looks like a printed signature here. And here are the collector's cards of all three versions of Superman and Unchained Armor. On the left, the original version. The middle, the Patina. And the right, the energized version. Now for his wings. He's got two of them. They're identical. They're made in the silver sort of metallic material, and just like the suit, a ton of weathering all over it. He's used the suit a lot. It's got a peg that's going to plug into his back. The peg can rotate, and it's hinged. Here's Superman without the wings, and here he is with the wings attached. Now I'm not really sure how you're supposed to put the wings on. I've seen promotional pictures with the wings down like this, as well as with the wings up like this, so I guess either way works. I kind of think they look a little better downward, but a little more impressive upward. Now do be careful with the wings. My original Superman Unchained Armor, the peg broke off into the hole, and that really sucks. Very disappointing. I even glued the wing back on at one point, but it broke off again. And it's not like you can replace that one. That figure is quite pricey nowadays. Would love to get a replacement wing, but I'm pretty sure that ship has sailed. And I was curious if there were any sculpting differences between the Patina Superman Unchained Armor versus the original version. Obviously, the paint job is completely different, but it looks like there's nothing else different at all. 100% the same sculpt. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.75 inches, which would translate to about 19.5 centimeters. And I want to go to the wings at the very tallest point, about 10.5 inches tall. Now for his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, you can rotate from side to side. You can look up and down about that much. Can't tilt his head from one side to the other. Wings, you have a peg that plugs in here. You can rotate them around. Rotate at the peg, or you could rotate them on the inside of the ball joint here. A little safer that way. They're hinged, and they can rotate. I'm very careful with these. I had a bad experience with my first one, and it wasn't right away. It took it a really long time to break. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out just a little bit less than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have that butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, increase the range of motion, and covering the large gap. Bicep cut below that. Single jointed elbow, 90 degree bend. His wrist can rotate, and it's going to be hinged as well. His torso, ball joint, rotate around, forward and back. Another one at his waist, rotate around, forward and back. Between the two, pretty good range of motion in his torso area, a lot more in the waist than the torso. Considering this big bulky armored figure, he moves pretty good. Legs, complete does the splits, not ball joints, McFarlane style hip joints. Rotation, it's pretty decent on him. Legs go forward about that much all the way. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees, they go back that far. And then his ankle here, forward and back. A little bit of rotation, although it's blocked by his armor. Tilt Rock, also pretty limited, and then Toe Articulation. Here's a look at all 3 variations of Superman in his Unchained Armor, with the patina packaging in the background. Now let's check them out. Next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the original Superman in Unchained Armor. This is how he appeared when he wore the suit in the comics. And here he is, next to the gold label Walmart exclusive Superman Unchained Armor Energized Edition. Here are all 3 variations of Superman in his Unchained Armor. I think we're good now. We don't need a 4th. Here is Superman in his Unchained Armor next to Batman in his Hellbat armor. Superman in his Unchained Armor and Batman in the Hellbat armor were both part of the first assortment of McFarlane toys and were extremely popular. I really hope that Batman in the Hellbat armor gets his patina edition treatment. I could really get behind that. That would look really cool. Now let's check him out. Next to some other Superman figures. Here he is, next to the Action Comics 1000 Superman. Still my favorite Superman figure McFarlane has made. And here he is, next to the Rebirth version of Superman. Then, next to the Henry Cavill DC Cinematic Universe Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Here he is, next to the Superman from Batman The Dark Knight Returns. Then, next to the Page Puncher Superman. Here are absolutely all of the different McFarlane DC Multiverse Superman figures that they've made so far. I believe the next one coming out, and it should be coming out really soon, is going to be the Hush Superman with the standard normal face. Looks to possibly be their best Superman yet. We'll know soon. Here's this Superman, next to some different various Superboy figures. And here, next to a couple of Supergirl figures. Here he is, next to some different Superman villains. We have Superboy Prime, Bizarro, Ultraman, Eradicator, General Zod, Lex Luthor, and Mongol. Then, next to Lobo and Devastator, which are kind of Superman villains. Lobo started off fighting Superman in Superman comics, and then Devastator, sort of a hybrid between Batman and Doomsday. Here are all of the different McFarlane Toys Store exclusive McFarlane DC Multiverse figures they've made so far. No idea what the next one's going to be, but I can't wait to find out. And let's not forget the McFarlane Toys Store exclusive, the Flash movie Batwing. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the entire Flash wave. Then, next to McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, Dick Grayson Robin, and Kyle Rayner Blue Lantern. And here he is, next to some recent gold label Target exclusive figures. We have the Flashpoint Aquaman and Project Superman, the Jokerized Future State Batman, then Impulse and Deadman. Then, next to some gold label Walmart exclusive figures, Vampire Joker, Vampire Batman, Eradicator, and Beast Boy. And now, next to the Titans wave, collect-to-build Beast Boy. Here's Superman, next to Shazam and Wonder Woman from Shazam Fury of the Gods. And here he is, next to the Arkham Knight Earth 2 Batman skin and the Arkham City Riddler. Then, next to the 2 most recent McFarlane Mega figures, Fulcrum, Abominus, and Calabac. And now, next to the 4th wave of Page Punchers, this is an Aquaman-themed wave. We have Aquaman, Aqualad, Black Manta, and Ocean Master. Here's Superman, next to the Dark Knight Trilogy wave, collect-to-build Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. And here he is, next to the Kingdom Come Armored Batman and the Dark Knight's Metal Gladiator Batman. Then, next to the Connell Superboy, Duke Thomas' Signal, and both versions of the Jay Garrick Flash. And now, next to the most recent Batman wave, we have the Hush Batman, both versions of the Nightfall Catwoman, both versions of the Rebirth Mr. Freeze, and the Infinite Frontier Joker. And finally, next to both the Amazon exclusive Tim Drake Robin and the Amazon exclusive Batman Family 5-pack. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane toy, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work way smaller, and I'm going to include as many Superman figures as I can during these comparisons. Here he is, next to some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, here's Superman, next to a brand new dish scrubber. And here he is, next to some DST, War Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles Superman figures. And here he is, standing with some NECA figures. Then, with some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collected figures. Then, with some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Superman figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex Superman figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a very nice figure. He's visually stunning. I like the color scheme. I really like the weathering and wear all over the figure. Sculpt and paint job are excellent. No issues there. Articulation, a little bit dated. This is a pretty old figure, 3.5 years old at this point. Accessories, well, besides the wings, which are really just an extension of the actual figure, are kind of non-existent, although I like the display stand and collector's card. If I were to rate this guy, probably going to give him a 7 out of 10. I'd give the Energized version a 6 out of 10, this version a 7 out of 10, and the classic red and blue version an 8 out of 10. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.